Hello and welcome back. I'm Diana, your host and expert in all things PKD and nutrition. Today we have a great listener question coming all the way from the windy city of Chicago. Adrian wrote in, I know labs are important, but what's the difference between BUN and creatinine? And do I need to pay more attention to one or the other with PKD or with my diet? Great question, Adrian. And I agree, knowing about labs, what they measure and mean, and the story of your labs, what they show and tell, is important. Today, I'm going to clear up that confusion for you around BUN and creatinine. We're also going to walk through a brief overview of what each is and how each can be affected by diet. This may be a shorty episode, but it definitely is important. Before I get into how BUN and creatinine are different, I want to touch on how they are similar. They both measure a waste in your blood and are part of what is called a standard kidney panel. That's the name of the lab panel your nephrologist or your doctor will typically order when they want to look at your labs. Each of those lab results for the BUN and creatinine have a listed range that is considered quote-unquote normal. This range should be listed on your lab results. It is the standard range and the amount of both the BUN and creatinine that is typically found in our blood when the kidneys are running at full function. Now, if either the BUN or the creatinine goes above that standard amount, it can be a sign of kidney damage or injury. When there is known kidney injury and damage, like with PKD caused by the cysts, the BUN and creatinine are also drawn to help monitor how well your kidneys are cleaning out their waste. Lab results that are consistently greater than that normal range can be a sign of progressing kidney disease and damage. They aren't always a sign when the labs are a little bit higher. Trust me, lots of things outside of your kidneys can impact your lab results. That's why with all of my clients, we look at what was going on at the time of those labs, especially if it's an abnormal lab. More specifically, what was different and their trends. One of the jobs of your kidneys is to filter waste. BUN and creatinine are both waste. It makes perfect sense to measure their amount left in the blood as a marker of how well your kidneys are doing their job. Now I want to get into how they are both different. First up is BUN. Now, you might hear BUN called by several different names. It might be called BUN. Some people call it BUN. It can be blood urea nitrogen. It can be urea nitrogen. If you are from Canada or Europe, you will see it listed on your labs as urea. All of these are the same thing. What BUN measures is the urea nitrogen waste in your blood. This is a waste, of course, typically filtered by the kidneys. The primary source of BUN waste in our bodies is from dietary protein. That's right, you heard me say it, dietary protein. And to be more specific, the primary source is animal meat protein. Now, BUN is an older measure of kidney function. They used to use BUN to look at our kidney function, not so much these days. Creatinine also measures a waste in the blood. This waste comes primarily from the normal wear and tear of our muscles, so muscle breakdown. It is a very normal waste product to have in your blood. Everybody has it. Almost all creatinine is filtered by our kidneys and removed in our urine. So a higher level absolutely can indicate that the kidneys aren't doing their job. Now, some creatinine does come from the breakdown of dietary protein. Again, it's particularly animal meat proteins. And I see this a lot more when someone has lower kidney function and their kidneys really are not able to clean out the blood. What's interesting about creatinine is it is a more reliable marker of how the kidneys are doing than BUN because it's not affected by as many other factors outside of the kidneys like BUN is. In fact, creatinine is used to calculate your GFR, your kidney function. The way that it is done is you use creatinine as a measure of the waist and also look at it, someone's sex, if they're male or female, how old we are, and put it into a calculation to estimate your GFR. So you can see there's lots of factors that go in. If people have the exact same creatinine number, the chances of them having a different GFR is pretty high because there's other factors that play in. If you would like to see how this works, I highly recommend you go to the NKF's GFR calculator. You can plug in that information. So it'll ask you what your creatinine number is. It'll ask you if you're male or female, how old you are, and then you hit calculate and it will estimate your kidney function. This is a great way to walk through understanding how creatinine is used to measure your function. And I'll link that out in the resources. So go play around with that. And absolutely, if your lab says GFR greater than 60 and does not give you an exact number, use this calculator to figure it out yourself. You might see a creatinine level listed in your urine test too. That's a different measurement, and the two aren't necessarily related. That's not the lab I'm talking about today. Today I'm talking about the one that is in your blood labs. So there you have it, a very brief overview of the similarities and the differences between BUN and creatinine. In summary, BUN and creatinine are both measures of waste in your blood, and they can and are used as markers of how well your kidneys are working and filtering waste. Creatinine is less influenced by factors outside of your kidneys, and it is used to calculate your GFR, the estimate of your kidney function. Both can be and are influenced by your diet, especially with a lower kidney function. Remember this: more waste equals more work for your kidneys. That is absolutely something we do not want to do with PKD. So it is 100% worth not overdoing your protein intake, primarily animal meat sources, and adding more work to your kidneys. If you are interested in learning more about your labs, what they measure, and information specific to PKD and understanding them, I am re-releasing Master Your Labs for PKD at the end of this month. A little bit about it. There are 7 modules in Master Your Labs, and then there's a bonus module. Here's how it works. When you enroll in Master Your Labs, you get instant access to all of them. Highly recommend watching the first module, Getting Started, because that sets you up for success. And then also the second module, which is Kidney Function. And in that, I go a little bit deeper into BUN, creatinine, and GFR. And after that, it's a choose your own adventure. You can go to any of the other modules based on what your labs are or what you're interested in learning about. And the bonus module is investigating anemia. Each module looks at what the lab is, what it measures, what the range is, and what outside of your kidneys could be making your values either high or low. Really, your needs to know. I also include common medications that are used with PKD that can affect your labs. Each module on its own is a standalone and has step-by-step question guides to ask your MD based on your labs. Master Your Labs is really packed with such good stuff. All are specific to PKD. Plus, there are so many printables to guide and help you. There are too many to list. So if you are interested in becoming a master of your own labs, check out My Labs. That's what I call it for short, My Labs. I will link it out in the show notes, and it will be relaunching at the end of this month for you. Make sure to sign up to connect with me via email so you can stay in the know. And as always, you can submit any topic request or questions to me.